everybody. This is the pre-show for the Buyers and Sellers Show. I'm Jay Skinner, and today, you probably know, we're going to have Dr. Sei Buor. I've known him for many years, and he's the president of CLTI, Christian Leadership Training International, and he's built great things in Liberia, where he came from as a young boy, and lives there today. You're going to get to know him and get to know CLTI and the work they've done there in Liberia. I've been there a couple times. Now that's Liberia, West Africa. Pretty cool, huh? And I want you to get on and be sure and comment. Put your comments right in there in the live chat. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I know it'll be over before you know it, but you're going to get to meet my good friend. And we're live. I'm Jay Skinner. You're on the Buyers and Sellers Show. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a fantastic show. And as you get on, I want to encourage you to make comments and join in the conversation. And we're going to remind you that every Friday at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, get on here, same time, same channel. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, how about that? All that stuff. And almost 3 years now. How about that? We've been together. Those of you that are regular watchers, and I'll tell you, there's so many more people that watch than I really know. And it's really kind of cool. And I was just in Chicago for 2 days, and I had a guy tell me, oh yeah, I tune into your show. Had no idea. And that just makes me feel proud. So I'm thankful for that. And you know that we're going to have Dr. Sei Buor here with us, and he's the president of Christian Leadership Training International, and it's cltinternational.org, cltinternational.org. And he just recently published another book called Challenge and Courage, Growing the First College Preparatory High School in Liberia. It's Liberia, West Africa. And he's sitting there waiting to come on board, and I want to bring him on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet Dr. Sei Buor. Hi, Dr. Buor. Hi.
Hi, Jay. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to those of you online. I'm so thrilled to be with you this morning.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And your story, what you've done, where you've gone, oh my gosh, this has been fantastic. The question begins, just tell us about your life. You know, this is it. You wrote this book, and we're going to get back to this in a minute. But tell us about what got you here from the time you were just a little boy in the country of Liberia. And that's a map of Liberia right there behind me. Everybody can look.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's Liberia, and Liberia is in West Africa. It's a tiny little country with 4.5 million population. So it's not a big country, but it's a country that has suffered and struggled for a long time. We went through 15 years of civil war, and more than 250,000 people were killed. And a whole lot was displaced as well. And I'm one of those who, was really blessed to get out. And so when I first got out with my wife and children, we went to Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. and I had the opportunity to go to school. And after my schooling, for 3 years, I did Master of Divinity. Then I moved on to Gambia, where I work in church planting with an international organization. And then in Gambia, the law opened the door for me to come to America in 1994. And what an excitement for us to put my feet here. And the movement I put my feet here, I knew that there was something unique about my trip to America, and something was going on in the minds of God. And I said, Lord, if you help me to actually get to America and to be equipped, I'm going to serve you. So I trusted God about my coming to America. I always tell people from the very beginning that when I came here, I didn't have money. I didn't have anything else, but I had two things with me: my faith in God, or my trust in God, and my vision to build a university in Liberia.
Okay, now let's time out for a minute.
Mhm.
And I'm going to scoot back just so people understand. You were born into Liberia, Africa, and you lived like in a little village and everything. What was that like? How, tell me about that.
I was born in a little village. My father and mother were subsistence farmers. We had nothing. And the village has no running water. It didn't even have a decent house, but we had a place to lay our head. That's about all. And all our parents did was to find the little food we can eat to survive. So we were plagued by malaria from mosquito and all of that. But then
Wow.
one day, my father took 50 cents and told me to go to school. And that was the beginning.
And you liked going to school, didn't you?
I love school. I love education. I love to study. And it has been, and then not only that, now from the beginning, I really wanted to be in school. But now I also want to pass that on to others, to other Liberians, and to the young people of Liberia, and to pastors. And that is my desire right now.
Okay. And now, when we talked earlier about how there became like a revolution, a war in Liberia that resulted in you leaving and going to Kenya and then Gambia and then to the United States, right?
Mhm. Yes, that's correct.
Great. So then one day you wake up because of God's providence in Holland, Michigan.
Mhm.
Now, who was with you at that time? You were a refugee. What was that like? You came here. Did you show up with all your suitcases and
No,
and
well,
credit cards?
I didn't have suitcases. I had my little box,
Uh,
like my plastic bag with my few stuff that I had, my Bible and few other things. And the plane landed in New York. I didn't have money to fly over to Holland, Michigan. So I got on the bus, and the
mhm.
bus took forever. So when I got to Holland, Michigan, about 10 or 11 o'clock in the night, I saw a little note on my table in the room where I was assigned to be my room. And the little note said, "We heard you are a pastor in Africa. We want you to be our friend. We've been waiting, but it's getting late and we have gone home. We will come back on Sunday to pick you up to take you to church." And the person who left that note was Dr. Gordon Van Wallen and his wife. And Dr. Van Wallen was the president of Hope College in Holland, Michigan.
Oh man. And that's when it all started.
It's all started from there. From there on, he was my mentor. He taught me everything. He took me around, introduced me to people. In fact, that very Sunday, when he came, they took me to the church, Christ Memorial Church. I still remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, I mean, these were tall, Dutch folks, very loving and intelligent people. They all dressed well in necktie and suit. And then at the end of the first service, the pastor came to me and said, "Welcome to America. You are our brother. Let's get to the door and greet the people." So we went to the door and we began to greet everybody that came out. And I remember the first time they said hi, and I said, "Hello, how are you doing?" They said, "Oh, you have a great accent. Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Liberia." And they said, "Oh, wow, you are from Libya." And and I said, "No."
Yeah, they get mixed up.
I said, "Liberia is in West Africa, but that was a loving, and we will call a growth community where the Lord just placed me." And then the following year, my wife and my children, they all joined me in Harlem, Michigan.
Okay, so you had to come, and where were your wife and children got left
We
behind?
left there in the Gambia. We left there in the Gambia.
Oh my gosh.
And Gambia is a tiny little country in the stomach of Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Okay. And as we're just thinking about that, how long was she away from you before they joined you here in the United States?
Our entire year. I came in 1994 and they joined me in 1995, almost the end of 1995.
Wow. And so as we move forward here, you're getting trained. There's opportunity. You begin to get degrees, and
Yes.
you start a refugee organization. And then I'm working backwards, but there was a
Mhm.
in your mind to start a university in Liberia.
Right.
Tell
So
us
so
about that whole situation of
so when
education
I
and
came
organization.
and then met with Dr. Gordon Van Wallen, he began to ask me, we started having some conversation. And, once we kind of got used to each other and I relaxed a little bit, then I said, "Dr. Van Wallen, I have a vision. I pray to come to America. I was a pastor and I want to go back and pastor the church.
Mhm.
But since I came with the opportunity I see here, I want to be a pastor of pastors." In other words, my vision is to help establish a university in Liberia that will train pastors, that will train teachers, and then that will train business and financial people as well for the
Mhm.
nation. Yes. So that was the beginning of talking about that vision. And Dr. Van Wallen just listened to me and he keep giving me question and answer. And it was just the beginning of our relationship.
So this doctor, this person in Holland, Michigan, um, I want to type his name and exactly how to. What was his name?
Or Dr. Gordon, Gordon,
Okay.
Gordon Van Wallen, two separate words, VAN,
Uh-huh.
and Wallens is WYLENS.
WYL
LEN, yeah, Wallen.
Wallen.
Yeah.
Is there an S at the end?
I think
I got
probably, yes.
Dr. Gordon Von Wallens. There we
Yeah.
go. And I'm going to put this up here so uh, people
He,
can.
he was the president of Hope College.
Is the president of Hope College.
Yeah.
Well, we owe a lot to him, and the people of Liberia owe a lot to him. And he was paying attention to the leading of the Holy Spirit in his life as he was was part of bringing you over, I
Right.
assume. And then you thought you were going to be a pastor of churches, which you'd gotten some education and
Right.
you were doing that in Africa before you came to the US, but then you got this vision.
Yes. I had a
And
vision to be more than just a pastor for the local church. My vision then expanded to develop more pastors, to develop accountants and financial managers, and to develop people in agriculture, and just on and on.
yeah.
And I'm so excited meeting, that Gordon Van Wallen. And then all I said to him is that all of what I'm saying to you, I don't have money, but I'm going to trust God. So I started inviting all the Liberians, refugees that I knew that have come to this country for us to come together. And when we did, it was wonderful. Every year we have four to 500 Liberians
Mm-hmm.
coming together for a conference, and we would invite Americans, our American friends, to come and speak to them and say, tell us, how do we live in this culture? How
Mm-hmm.
do we become productive citizens here now that we are over here? What do we need to do with our life? How do we obtain education, and financial independence? I mean, all sort of practical questions. They will come and talk to us about it. And it was that group that we challenged and say, hey, we are now, in a position like Nehemiah in the Bible to do something back home. And
Mm-hmm.
so if we can all collectively, begin to donate some little money, in fact, we said $10 so that everybody will do. I will resign from my work, and then I will focus on making sure that we have a university in Liberia. And we did.
And that's what you went to building at that point.
Right. But yeah, here is a piece that I didn't put there. After my study at Western Theological Seminary in
Mm-hmm.
Holland, Michigan, I went to Loyola University. And I remember thinking about going to Loyola University. And again, Gordon Van Wallen took the directory of the church and checked all his friends and told me to write to them to help me, for support, to take me into Loyola. And that's exactly what happened. And I went to Loyola University, and from 1997 to 2001. And I pursued a PhD in educational leadership, and policy studies. And that
Mm.
began now, that cemented my vision about the university idea.
Ha.
Yeah.
And then what I want to do is, in some ways, I'm jumping around, but what I'm trying to help is we pause so people
Hmm.
can really think about this.
Hmm.
Young boy in the bush of Africa.
Yes.
You get a chance to get some education. I happen to know because we're friends. I've been to Liberia
For
twice.
a long time.
I know your story so well because we've spent years and years together. But then through this course of events, this horrible, tragic war, you end up having to get out of Liberia for your lives.
Hmm.
And then it's Kenya, Gambia. Then you're a minister by then. You'd gotten a Doctor of Divinity type of degree or some sort of
Yeah.
a preaching
Exactly.
degree.
Hmm.
And in Africa. So you were fulfilling that dream. And then you get called to the United States for opportunity.
Yes.
And you show up there with like nothing except for a
Yeah.
smile on your face and the blessings of God.
Amen. That's it.
There you go. And then you get some more college education. You get to dream. You build you know what? Now,
Hmm.
I'm talking more than I like to talk sometimes, but this is so important because the lesson I want people to learn here is
Hmm.
take a look at this story and listen to what Dr. Boor, Sei Buor, my friend, is saying,
Hmm.
and then consider, and this is what people that watched my show a couple weeks ago learned, what you envision in detail
Hmm.
with emotion on a daily basis is what shows up in your life. And my friend John Mitchell coined that phrase, that sentence.
That's correct.
You lived that trusting in God.
Yes. That's exactly what I did because I didn't have money to trust in it. And then besides that, I haven't built a university before. I didn't have any experience. I was just a pastor back in Africa. But when I came, the vision God put in my mind began to grow. And then God began to connect me with the right people who have the experience, who have the financial means. And then my Liberians all over the United States who have a heart for their country. And
Uh-huh.
with that collective effort, we all came together, trusted the Lord, and today, Liberia International Christian College is producing pastors. And I mean, there is not a. We have about 5 banks in Ganta, where
And
the college is.
Ganta is the city
Yeah,
where you live, where it was built in
Ganta is
Liberia.
the the second largest commercial city in Liberia, next to Monrovia.
Yep.
Wherever you go, you find our graduates today. If you go to the border, the government revenue collection area, you find our graduates. If you go in a bank, you will find it. If you go into the teaching area in schools, you find our graduates. You go to various churches, those have been, yes, that is Liberia International Christian College. It's amazing how the
Yeah.
Lord has blessed that school. And now, Jay, the school, I transitioned from there in 2015 and turned it over to a new leadership, and they are doing extremely amazing work.
Yes, and I just might mention it's more than just these two buildings. There's lots of stuff going
Mhm.
on at that university that includes even students all over the country. And there's
Right,
areas of this. They also did some sort of an agricultural school. Is that something that they continue to teach
right.
and grow and go? Yes.
So
Okay. So your
one
thing.
of the building is out, and there is also a new building under construction to introduce nursing in the school.
Oh man, that is
But these are
fantastic.
the two early, buildings on the ground.
Man. So thinking about that, you did the university.
Hmm.
Then in 2015, you founded Christian Leadership Training International,
That's
and
correct.
your mind changed. Now you have a college that's a more Western style, good education type of organization,
Right.
like nothing else in Liberia.
That's correct. Then in 2015, I transitioned from the university as the president and co-founder. And then as I was making my mind to come back to America, the Lord touched my heart. And then I saw the young people in Ganto or in Nima County crying for help. Most of them could not pass their state examination.
When they get
So,
out of high school, they couldn't.
yeah, before you graduate from high school in Liberia, you have to pass the state examination.
Mhm.
So it was tough because this is post-war Liberia. Everybody is struggling, to make things, become, more improved and more standardized.
Mhm.
So I called the leaders of the community, of faith-based community, and we came together. And I asked them to identify for me, 25 teachers who would teach real core courses like math, geometry, the trigonometry, physics, biology, chemistry, and they brought it to me, and I picked 18 teachers.
Yes.
And we started after school study program for 12th grade students. And I invited all schools to send their children, to send their high school student from 3 to 6, Monday to Thursday. And we were going to focus on them and help them pass their state examination. And we did.
Mhm.
The first year, 99.9, if not 100% passed the test. We did it the second time, the same result, 100% passed the test. Then what happened? The place got flooded with lots of students. We didn't have space. And then I said, Lord, what do we do? He said, well, that's what I sent you here for. Stay in this city. As you can see, there are a lot of students here that need quality education. So go find a place, go buy the land and purchase and build a bigger facility that you can accommodate these students. So I went and found the 5 acres of land, and the owner charged me $20,000, but I have only $2,000. My wife and I have only $2,000 in our account in America.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my daughter, I said, go and withdraw that money and put it in CLT account. That would be the first seed money that we would put towards that land. And then I wrote to friends, and they all responded generously. And I think Jill, if you can remember, you remember when you came to the house here?
Yes.
In Fortville, when I told you the last amount we need to finish the payment was $3,000. And you show up to my door here and you say, well, I had a business meeting nearby and I wanted to stop to see you. And behold, you handed me the $3,000 check. And I quickly dispensed that to Liberia to make the final payment on the land. But to cut it short,
I didn't know you were going to say that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
I couldn't keep that. I couldn't keep that. I got so excited here.
I am heart deep into what you do there.
So we paid for the land, and then we got EMI Group, Engineering Ministry International volunteers, 10 people. They went to Liberia to do the design, of the campus. And today we have a beautiful, beautiful campus called Riverview International Christian Academy. Yeah, these are our first high school students that will be graduating on November 21st. They all sat for their state examination and all of them passed. So they are ready for the graduation ceremony. And I can't wait. My wife and I already packed and we are ready to be with them on November 21st. So I will be in Liberia by November. You can see the classes. Beautiful. We got all the furniture from here and ship it over to Liberia. So we have a beautiful facility, and right now we are putting together, we are constructing, if not the only science lab, for high school in the county is going to be in that school.
That is great. And how many kids are going right now? I mean, this is a huge project that you've done.
Well, we started with
how big, what does that, and how does it talk about? Because I know that some of the government officials from the country of Liberia have looked at this and made comments. Talk to them about
we started with 465 students. This year, because of the election that just took place recently, and there is going to be a rerun, so the people are coming in slowly. Parents are reluctant to register their children, but right after the election, I'm sure things will begin to. But we started with 465, and this year, I think we might be more than that. So that's why. But then when this happened, when this happened, and there's a couple of schools here in Indianapolis gave us furniture, free furniture. But we have to ship it to Liberia. So I went to the ministry that is responsible for duty free in Liberia called LRA. And then finally, after some...
That's like the tax authorities. Yeah.
Pardon? So after
that's the tax authority. Yeah.
Yeah, the tax authority, Liberia Revenue Authority. Yep. So the commissioner, I invited the commissioner when he came for a visit in Ganto to visit the school, because the guys in Monrovia were drilling me back and forth. So he came there, he kept his word and promised that I would be there tomorrow. And so he came over, and now walking through that building, the first academic building, two-story building. So he walked through there, he just entered the first floor, and he turned around to me, he said, "You don't convince me. I have seen it myself. You're now going to have 100% duty free for all that you bring for this school." And I said, "Wow, is that serious?" And he said, "Follow me." We were saying that on a Sunday morning. He said, "Follow me to Monrovia tomorrow, and I will sign all your documents." And we followed him to Monrovia, and behold, when we got to his office, he had signed everything for us and was ready to be just given to us. And then he followed, after a while, he followed up on it, came to the school for a personal visit with his wife and his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he took them around, showed them the place, and he was so excited, and the wife was so excited. And he turned around and said, "I'm going to make a contribution of 500 bags of cement. And then I'm also going to give a financial gift of $500." And I mean, I was blown apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a man, I didn't know him. He doesn't know me. I've been out of that country for almost 30 years. But he saw what God was doing through a Liberian refugee, who has fled the country and was returning to help his community. So that's the kind of support. And locally, we have received tons of support from the local leaders, business leaders, pastors, churches all over the place. So we are so thrilled for what God has done.
If you look, there's a lot of people watching, and
Okay.
this is Helena
Helena Sua,
Sua.
I know her very well. She's a
Well,
nurse living in Philadelphia.
oh my gosh. Well, Helena, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, I just want you to know we're coming towards the end. And because of the delays, if you have any comments or want to say anything, please type it in so we can say hi to you. But we're so thankful. I can tell by looking at my statistics that we have one of the largest audiences we've had for one of these broadcasts. Say people are interested in what you're doing and what's happening here. This is
And
fantastic.
and Jay, let me say this. And if you have questions, those of you online, please post your question. But let me also say this. I believe with all my heart there are tons of Liberians out there that want to go back, and sometimes they are a little bit skeptical. Because when I was getting ready to go, it was tough. They told me all the things that were happening to me. They tell me the armed robbers, the witchcraft, and all of that. But the key to going is trusting in God and God alone. And I want to challenge all of you out there. If God has given you a vision, or if you have a passion to do anything, step forward, step out, take action, and take action now.
Take action now. And one of the things that people that are watching right now that say, this is amazing, I want to know you better. You are in the United States right now. You've been here for several months and you're getting ready to go back in middle of November.
Right. I'm in the US right now just visiting. I don't live here anymore. I live in Liberia. But I have my children here. We have 5 children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and we have friends and our network of people, partners for the ministry. They are all here. So we come for a visit, and then we do some other running around. I drink coffee a lot with friends, and then I run back to Liberia and get to work. So by November 15, I'm getting back to Liberia to get to work. So if you are in Liberia, please come and see me in Ganto. We have a missionary house. You don't need to get in a hotel. If you are in the U.S. and visiting Liberia, come and stay and see this campus. You are very, very welcome to stay with us. We will be your host.
And I must tell everyone that I have been there twice, and I was actually there before electricity. And
Yeah.
I mean, not before electricity was invented, but before it came there. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Can we talk about a book? You think we?
Yes, we should talk about that.
Okay.
Tell people, because I'm going to show right now that you actually have multiple books and you've come out with a new one.
Yeah.
So we'll show that, but please talk about your new book, and people can go on Amazon and buy this. It's called Challenge and Courage: Growing the First College Preparatory High School in Liberia. Talk to us about this new, it's like a how-to book.
Right.
On
So
doing the impossible. It's awesome.
this new book tells the story in details. So I'm just giving you a brief of the story. On this show, we can't go into too much detail. We don't have the time, but I want you to go on Amazon and purchase a copy. And this book will do two things to you. One, it will challenge you to let you know that if you have a God-sized dream, that God, if you trust in God, God is going to take you through to fulfill that dream. Do not allow your dream to die. There are so many people in graves today with their dream buried with them. Don't allow your dream to be buried with you. And two, there are people out there that are depending on you. That God is saying that I have placed you in the life of these people, of the life of this community, so that their lives will be transformed. Can you believe that since LICC, we have graduated more than 1,000 of students? Wow. And they've been launched into the field all over in Liberia. People see me, even in Monrovia, they come to me and say, I graduated from LICC. Thank you. And I say, thank God. And you go to Ganto now, we are just about to graduate our first 36 students, and most of them are going to the university now. And that community is changing a lot. When we went there, it was complete darkness. There was no light. But last year, we brought light in the community, and people in their homes, they all come down to say, thank you. This place, we have been in darkness forever. So you don't know what God is going to do through you to make sure lives get transformed wherever you are and wherever you put your mind. So I want to encourage you, buy this book. And then I also have some leadership lessons here that you can go through it, and will help you is how to do it, how to, dream big, and how to implement that dream step by step. Is all in this book.
It is.
That's the story. Thank you.
A great story. You're welcome. Thank you. I love that part where you say, don't die before you do your dream. Don't let the dream die
with you. Yes,
that is fantastic. From the comments I mentioned there, and I'm so thankful, my sister Susan, who's in California, is listening live, and she said divine order, that how everything's worked out here is like in God's plan, and she's a spiritual individual, and I'm so thankful. Susan, I love you. Thank you for coming, and thanks for being Susan on the show today. That's Susan Skinner. So if anybody knows Susan in California, because I guess if you're from California, everybody knows everybody.
I just came from California. The next time there, I will give you a call, Susan.
Oh my gosh, she would love that. You guys could get together. She would love to see you. So, Dr. Buor, Sei, you've gotten an extra 10 minutes out of me that most people don't get.
Okay.
How about that? I mean, this is very interesting. It's very encouraging. And I know that we promoted this out to everybody in the United States, like ULICAF people and to people. And over the next week, people will be catching this broadcast. And I want to encourage them, if you're in the United States, please pick up the phone and dial 317-792-0757 and talk to Dr. Buor if you want. And if you're, after he goes back, just get on. There's the telephone number of his. Is that your cell phone in Liberia?
That's correct.
There you go. That's country code 231-775-086-829. And I'll say that again, country code 231-775-086-829. And I can tell you he picks up the phone and there he is on the telephone. And then if you ever thought that you wanted to be a missionary and do something in Africa, how about going with Dr. Buor and being right there with the head of the organization, like I have on multiple occasions, staying at his house, working with the people, and actually touching it and having a direct impact on what's going on there. That's what you can do. So many organizations are so big that when you get involved, going to the place maybe never happens. If you do go, there's a lot of distance and red tape and like it's like a big business. Well, this is a big business for God. And
Yes.
Dr. Buor, his wife, Yah, who is his helpmate, his supporter, the love of his life, and his family, and then all the people there in Ganta, that's also called Gamba City, Liberia, Nimba County, they know him and they know him nationally and really, and I'm going to show this to it. This was amazing to me on this website, Dr. Buor. Say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Watch this. You guys, I was going to say, Sei is kind of a big deal. Just type his name and then you get his 3 books. He just fills up. I mean, do you have any idea how much people try to pay to get this kind of Google front page on their name? And Sei Buor, going from the bush to now back in a community near where he grew up, has built a university, has built a college preparatory high school and elementary school, and done so many more things. And not with his big money, but with the money and the resources of people that God has sent his way and he's helped organize. And the refugees of Liberia that are here in the United States came together for the first big project. And that is a great way for everyone to give back to their community, to the country that they came from and they still know and love. Dr. Buor, talk to us now. I want you to leave this audience with a few final words.
Perfect. Thank you. And again, let me say this. If God has given you a dream or a vision, make sure you follow up on that vision. The starting might be difficult, but if God has laid that on your heart, remain consistent, trust Him, and He will take you through. Remember, God has placed in you His own image that is not in any other creation or creatures except in you. And God depends on you to be His hands and feet out there so that you and I can transform this world. And I want to challenge you, purchase a copy of that book, and you will see the 1, 2, 3, or the ABC, the principles that I used to build the college preparatory high school, which is what I am bringing to you. And if you are ever in Liberia for a visit, come to Ganta. We will be your host and we will take you around, and I will even grill a goat for you. We raise fish, we raise goat, we raise pigs, and all of those things on that land is amazing what you will find. So come for a visit. Come over. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sei, for uh, this time. So now I'll just ask if you go back to the green room. I'll
Mhm.
see you. We're going to wrap this up. And everyone that's been here, I want to thank you for coming. Here's the last comment. Marty Moran, he's the owner of a company called White Hot Headshot, and he's the one who did my most recent photograph. He says, love how you bring assorted people onto your show, Jay. This is inspirational support. God uses the willing. Marty, thank you.
Thank you, Maddie.
Oh, look at this. And Mark's jumped in. Mark Benner, thanks for being here. He says, great interview, gentlemen. God's blessings. And how about this? Great show. Thanks for hosting, Jay. Sei Buor. Oh, tell everybody who's Tanzia. Yeah, you say you know who Tanzia is.
Actually, I'm going to Nashville tomorrow morning. It's only because of this show that I didn't leave today. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'm going to be visiting that young lady. She is so special to us.
And that's your daughter. And
That's
she's
exactly.
very heavily involved in the ministry. And she's also, it's like she's an executive in a big hospital organization there in
Yeah,
Nashville.
she's a vice president for HRI Tri-State Medical Summit.
And she's the example. She came over with you from
Oh yeah,
Liberia.
she was probably like what, 5 years or 4 years when she came,
Yeah.
maybe a little more.
And she's living the American dream. And Tanzi is mentioning, she says Olivia is also on. There's great family support. Who's Olivia?
Olivia is our oldest daughter, and I'm sitting down right in your house right now.
Oh man, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, Sei, thanks for coming. Everybody, thank you for coming. Thanks for participating. It's been a great show. I'll be back in the green room in a minute. See you in a minute.
Thank you.
Everyone, this has been a special show. I'm so glad that you came around and watched. So many thumbs up, so many people watching here. Got people from all over the world here. And let this be an inspiration to you. And if you just want to get on something on the internet to try to find Dr. Buor, probably the easiest place you can go right now, if you just want to get on this and bump around, would be ricaschool.com as Riverview International Christian Academy. And this will get you into the whole CLTI website. And then, of course, you see the banners have come up here so you can find his phone number, whatever you need to do. I have a feeling that there's somebody out there watching this that was thinking, I wonder what I can do to help make this world a better place. This guy and this organization sounds interesting. They are. And I would recommend that you get involved. Everyone, have a great day. I'll see you next Friday, 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same time course, same channel. You've been on the Buyers and Sellers Show. See you next week. Thank you very much for coming.